Good morning, dear grade 12s. So today we're finished. I'm finished giving you all of the notes. I'm just going to clean up some things here. And we're just going to stick. We're not going to start if some of you have the plan that I made up, because we're not doing the midterm. Next week we were going to be reviewing and stuff, and we were going to be writing a midterm. It's gone. So we don't have to worry about that. So we can slow down. Don't relax too much. We'll write the quiz on digestion on Monday. Let's write it on Monday, and then we'll start circulation on Monday. We'll do it. That's been a sort of our pattern. So you guys are used to that, and you can have the weekend to study for it. So today, let's just some cleanup stuff, and things to keep in mind, things to remember, things that, and I'll say things that I forgot probably to say in the previous videos. I had a little bit more coffee today and a bagel, so that's going to help. I want to talk a little bit about the liver, because the liver is part of the digestive process. I don't think I covered all the things about the liver, and a little bit more about the pancreas, which sits sort of here-ish, is the pancreas. So some of the extra things that the liver does, so I want to talk about those that are not necessarily related to digestion, but are covered in it. So liver, what does the liver, so I talked about the liver produces bile out of the gallbladder. Let me grab that liver. Okay, so bile, gallbladder, bile duct. So in here, this would be an exocrine glands, right? They go down a duct. They're not endocrine glands, because endocrine glands release stuff into the blood. I still don't like that naming scheme. So bile aids in the digestion of fats. It helps mechanically break the fats down with emulsification, okay? Right now, I'm digesting my bagel as we speak. My mouth is watering, that salivary amylase. Okay, next, the other thing that, and it's related to the digestive system, is old red blood cells are broken down in the liver. And they're broken down into my two favorite biological names of anything is bilirubin and biliverdin. They sound like sons that you would like, really reckless sons, like twin sons that you would yell at all the time. Bilirubin! And they appear green. So if your poo is green, if you're pooing green poo, it might not mean that you're sick, but you are maybe having an excess of red blood cells that are dying. So that could be bad. That could be a serious thing. But also might be because your poo normally isn't green. It's like brown already. And the other colors come from water being absorbed and just the rest of the process of digestion. So if you're pooing green, because those things enter bilirubin and biliverdin enter in the duodenum. They enter right at the beginning there. That's where the bile duct opens up. It just probably means that your food is not being digested. It's going through your system too fast. And there could be a number of reasons for that. But so there you go. Now you know why you would have green poo, because of bilirubin and biliverdin. What else does the liver do? So, and it's good to know these things because we're going to be coming upon them in future units. So it converts toxic ammonia into the less toxic urea. So the breaking down of amino acids, you produce nitrogenous wastes, metabolizing amino acids and things like that. You produce nitrogenous wastes, and those are really toxic. If you had done Life Sciences 11, you would have learned that one of the first things that as animals sort of are evolving as we move up through the phyla, they all are figuring out ways to get rid of nitrogenous waste. Proto-kidneys are one of the first things to develop because that's a way of getting ammonia, getting those toxins out. We have the liver, and the liver converts it to urea, which is not as toxic as ammonia, but it's still not great. And then it quickly gets shuffled out, and you pee the urea out. That's one of the toxins. We got to get toxins out of our body. Well, that's one of them. You make it. The liver also controls blood sugar, so it converts glucose to glycogen and converting glycogen into glucose. So if you eat a lot of donuts, you go to a donut shop, not Tim Hortons. Those donuts, they're not really that great at Tim Hortons, but like a good place. There's a place called Brecca. It's like my favorite, European donuts, or Lucky's Donuts. If you eat a bunch of those, all of a sudden you start breaking down. You got a lot of sugar entering your blood. Too much sugar is bad. So what your liver does is it converts that sugar into glycogen, and then it stores it. And then when you need energy, you're running, you're doing whatever. I didn't eat enough. You got low blood sugar. You will convert glycogen into glucose. And it works with the pancreas. So I'm going to get to the pancreas in a second. And then the liver also removes toxins from the blood, like alcohol and excess vitamins. So if you vitamin load, you are just making extra work for your liver, that then it has to pee out the vitamins. And if you drink alcohol, you are causing your liver harm, actually, if you overdo alcohol, because the cells, they get cirrhosis. They get damaged. And the other thing that it does, which we're going to be seeing in the future, is it produces blood proteins. So we're going to be seeing that, I think, soon, because we're doing circulation soon. So globulins, these are blood proteins, and they have two functions that we're going to be covering. So number one, they're involved in clotting. They sort of start the chain reaction that causes your blood to clot if you have a cut. Hemophiliacs, they have trouble with those proteins. The other thing they do, this is a good one. This is hearkening back to stuff that we learned, is blood pressure. And how they control blood pressure, or help. There's many things that control blood pressure, but how they help blood pressure is by being a solute. So they're a solute. They're in your blood. They're dissolved in your bloodstream, which means they can make your blood hypertonic. And so water goes into your blood. Remember, through osmosis, water will go to a hypertonic solution from a hypotonic solution. So out of the tissues into the blood. And that's because of those globulins, because they're a solute. They make your blood. And then they can actually leave the blood, or they can hide themselves. And your blood becomes less hypertonic. It's one of the ways you control your blood pressure. It's very important to control blood pressure. Next we're doing blood pressure. I'm going to bring my blood. Mr. K has to have a blood pressure monitor because he's got high blood pressure. So we'll see if any of you can beat my high blood pressure, my super duper high blood pressure. Okay, so that's the liver. So just going through those extra functions of the liver, which you are responsible for knowing, and they're good to know. The liver is important. So production of bile, that's the main thing here for digestion. Bile into the duodenum. What's bile involved in? Fat. Mechanical digestion of fat. It breaks the fat down mechanically. Emulsification, those are the words you need to think about. It's like soap. Soap does that. Breaks down the fats on your skin. Soap does it with being extremely basic. And if you think about the gallbladder, bile helps to make the duodenum much more basic after the super acidic environment of the stomach. It makes bile. It breaks down blood cells to biliverdin, which is green. They look green. Converts toxic ammonia into urea for peeing. Controls blood sugar, so glucose to glycogen, glycogen to glucose. And then toxins like alcohol and excess vitamins, all those vitamin loaders, you're giving money to those vitamin companies for nothing. Produces, but it's not for nothing. You know what? It's not for nothing. I don't want to knock that stuff because it makes you feel better when you eat vitamins, and there's totally fine. There's lots of things that we do to make us feel better. It's like a peace of mind. Oh, I ate the vitamins. I know I'm getting enough vitamins, and you can go along with your day. So it's not a waste. And they produce those blood proteins which are involved with maintaining blood pressure and blood clotting, and are responsible for blood clotting. Globulins. Okay, so then things that, what did I miss anything else? Oh, the pancreas. I didn't talk enough about the pancreas. So we talked about pancreatic juice, that it's, there's bicarbonate, which is a buffer that raises the pH. So it's 8.3, the pH in the duodenum. And so the acid chyme, which is the food bolus, fell into the stomach, became acid chyme, and now the pH is dropped, so it just becomes chyme. That's what's happening to the food. And then the main enzymes of digestion come out of the pancreas. Now, these are secreted by exocrine glands because they go down the pancreatic duct. So lipases, lipids, they break down lipids. Nucleases break down RNA and DNA. Amylase, the pancreatic amylase, breaks down carbohydrates into maltose, and then we didn't really do the whole maltose thing when we talked about enzyme pathways, but it's gone. Trypsinogen, which is that precursor to trypsin, which eats protein, so it's dangerous. It eats peptide chains, so you don't want that floating around in your cells. So it comes out as trypsinogen, which is inert. And then another enzyme comes along called enterokinase, and it converts the trypsin into peptides. Remember, there was another enzyme like that breaks down peptide chains in the stomach, pepsin, and it came out inert as pepsinogen, but there wasn't an enzyme that converted into pepsin. It's just the pH of the stomach is what switches it, denatures whatever the thing is that's blocking the active site, essentially. Oh, and then and also water comes out. And why do you need the water? I'm not even going to say why you need the water. Why do you need the water? You should know why we need the water. And then I didn't talk about this. So that's the exocrine functions of the pancreas. And then I sort of was like, blah, 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 about the endocrine. I think I was, blah, blah, I don't know. I don't remember. I should watch the videos. Alpha cells in the endocrine part of the pancreas. So endocrine means it's shooting it into the blood. It's going into the blood. So they produce glucagon. It sounds like a product. Like it sounds like something you would buy at the supermarket. Glucagon. And glucagon breaks down glycogen, which raises your blood sugar levels. So remember, the liver converts glucose into glycogen. And so if you need a boost of energy, the pancreas will release glucagon, and that'll go into the blood, it'll go into the liver, and the liver will be like, okay, and it'll break down that glycogen into glucose. And now there's lots of glucose in your blood. So that glucose needs to go into your blood. And remember, glucose has to be actively transported into the blood, or it has to have helper proteins that move it into the blood. And those proteins are turned on by insulin. And so beta cells in the pancreas also they produce and secrete insulin, and that activates those cells to move glucose into the cells. And now your muscles can break down that sugar, and you can move and run and do things. And so that lowers blood sugar levels, but you're getting more energy, because if the sugar's in your blood, it's not doing anything. It's just in your blood. It needs to be in the cells to be broken down and turned into ATP. Remember that? Remember all that? Cellular respiration. Okay, those are the things that I think I didn't cover well enough. Is there anything else that I need to say or want to say? And if you have diabetes, So I think your assignment, there was an assignment that went up. It's on like diseases of it's diseases of the intestine, the digestive diseases. I guess diabetes would count in that. That's related to this. Anyways, I think that's an option for you to do. I think it lists the things that you can do. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. You guys usually knock it out of the park on those. I looked at some of the labs that you guys did, the enzyme labs. I've started marking those. I'm no joke. I was moved by one of, I know, only a crazy person would be moved by an enzyme, but someone did it like exactly. It's like they stumbled onto the goal that I had of that lab of like thinking like a scientist, and anyways, it was beautiful. Anything else I want to say? No, I think that does digestion. So tomorrow, I don't know what's going to be in the video tomorrow. I don't know, maybe some review or something. I'll give you hints about what's on the test. You can use tomorrow as a work period. So, because we need, if you have assignments outstanding, I'm starting to mark them now, and I need to mark them by the end of the weekend, because next week I have to do your report cards, which is it's a much bigger thing than it used to be, because my comments have to be comprehensive. They can't be just like, student is doing okay. They still might be, student is doing okay, because I don't know. I don't know how to write. I'm not an English teacher. I don't know how to eloquently write comments. So it's stressed. Look, it's like I have an assignment to do. Hopefully, and I'm gonna get a C+. So there you go. I'll see you next week, and there you go.